कर दिया।
ये बिहार के स्वाभिमान की जीत है।
Hello and welcome to this NDTV special, the Bihar aftershocks, the national impact of an election that was much more than just for a single state. This is the picture tonight if you're just tuning in, and remember now these are not leads anymore. This is the final results picture that we're putting up for you on the screen. A remarkable comeback by the Nitish Lalu combined, a third term for Nitish Kumar sweeping Bihar. It's now 178 seats to the Mahagathbandhan as it was called. The BJP and its allies just managing to get 58 seats. And the map, if you put the map up on the screen for you as well, which we are hoping to do shortly, you'll find that this is a wide-ranging result. It's not concentrated in any one region or zone, suggesting that the idea that this was a vote based on caste or sectarian grounds does not quite hold up. If you actually see the colors, the green and blue colors of the JDU, RJD combined, then it's across the entire spectrum of Bihar. Now, in one of his first rallies in the Bihar campaign, kicking off for the BJP, Amit Shah said, and he told the audience that their vote is a vote that should be heard outside the limits of Bihar. And what has happened this morning is perhaps exactly that, not in the way that he may have anticipated. But I think that settles the entire question about whether this election has national ramifications or not. I think that debate is settled. The questions that remain, of course, are what are those ramifications? What does it mean for the leadership of Narendra Modi and Amit Shah? What does it mean for the BJP? What does it mean for the government? What does it mean for the elections, the political landscape that lie ahead? And what does it mean for the questions of governance and reforms? I'm joined by a very, very high-powered panel to debate this tonight in depth. Joining us from Chennai, former Finance Minister, Senior Congress Leader P Chidambaram. Thanks very much indeed, sir, for being on the show. Also joining us, Vinay Sahasrabuddhe, a key BJP strategist, someone who works very closely with BJP President Amit Shah. Arun Shourie, one-time admirer, now fierce critic of BJP and Narendra Modi, joining us here. Also, Yogendra Yadav, who's here more in his hat as an election analyst, an avatar he lapses into in every election, not so much as a political figure. And also we're joined by a representative of the JDU, Arun Kumar Srivastava. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Now, P Chidambaram, sir, if I can start with you. Lalu Prasad Yadav today said, virtually within seconds of making his first appearance before the media, he said that I am going to take the momentum of this Bihar election. Nitish Kumar will handle Bihar. I'm going to take this momentum and take on the NDA government. I'm going to take on Modi. I'm going to rattle this sense of insensibility that they've built around themselves. Do you believe that this is just bravado, or that this is an election
I don't wish to.
which has ramifications? No, let me put to you the wider question, that this is an election which has ramifications beyond Bihar for the central government and for the image, the invincibility, the image of the BJP and Narendra Modi.
It has ramifications beyond Bihar, because it was the Prime Minister and the BJP who plunged into the Bihar election as if it was a referendum on the Modi government. Never before has a Prime Minister campaigned so intensively and aggressively in a state election. Never before have so many resources been thrown into a state election. So having led a PM-headed campaign, obviously it will have ramifications, but not in the manner which perhaps Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav has in mind. It will have ramifications on the functioning of the central government over the next
in what way, sir?
42 months.
In what way?
18 months are behind, I'll tell you. 18 months are over. In the next 18 months, you will have elections in critical states. 5 states go to elections next year, and then you have Punjab and Uttar Pradesh, the most critical state, in 2017. Now, is the Prime Minister, is the central government's leadership going to devote itself to development and governance, or are they going to spend the next 18 months trying to win elections for the BJP, like they tried to do in Bihar? Number one. Number two, more questions will be asked about what have you delivered. I have maintained that in the last 18 months have delivered very little.
Yes.
Especially in 3 critical areas: infrastructure, jobs, prices. Now, what do they expect to deliver in the next 18 months or so? So I think it has serious implications. It has implications for the capacity of BJP to lead a government at the center.
But
See,
also,
3 times in the past, or 4 times in the past,
yes,
4 times in the past, non-Congress parties have been entrusted with power. Mr. Morarji Desai and Mr. Charan Singh, they failed. Mr. VP Singh and Mr. Chandrasekhar, they failed. Then it was Mr. Vajpayee, who initially stumbled, but he was able to complete a term with a reasonable degree of success. Not spectacular, but reasonable degree of success. Therefore, it puts into question the capacity of the BJP to govern India.
That's a very serious question that you've raised, and let me, please stay with me, let me take that to Vinay Sahasrabuddhe, because it's only fair that he gets to respond. A number of things that P Chidambaram has said.
Of course.
Vinay Sahasrabuddhe, can I just get you to respond to the last thing that he said, that the perception that this election has intensified, he says, is whether there is a capacity, the belief that this government was actually going to turn things around for the country, that Mr. Modi could deliver, has been shaken after this result.
Most of the Congress leaders are in their own world of make-believe. They have been thinking that it is their birthright to govern India. It is, I mean, they are born to rule India. That kind of a phenomenon is there. That is the mindset, which in fact arises out of some kind of an arrogance. But on a lighter vein, let me recall what Jawaharlal Nehru had said in 1948. In one of his speeches, he had said, while addressing the Congress leaders, Congress workers, that we have to rule this country for 50 years. That expiry date ended in 1998. So thereafter, I believe the nation is witnessing many non-Congress governments, not only in the states, but even at the center. And therefore, it would be better for any other party, but certainly for the Congress as well, to come out of this make-believe world that they are there to run the country, they are here to govern.
But what about,
and no other political force can govern at all. I mean, that kind of a mindset, I believe, smacks of high degree of arrogance, and in a democratic setup, this is just unacceptable.
But Vinayji, can I ask you the other point that he made, that is this going to make life more difficult for Mr. Modi and for the Modi-Amit Shah duo that was virtually running the party and the government with unassailable authority? Will it be difficult for them now both to assert their authority on the party in the direction they'd like to take it to, as well as with the government?
See, BJP is one of the most institutionalized political parties in this country. Perhaps the only institutionalized political party. One defeat or 2 defeats here and there. I mean, these defeats are not going to affect our institutional character. I mean, there were many defeats that we have digested so far. Atal Bihari Vajpayee or Advani ji have witnessed several defeats, and now we are witnessing couple of defeats in last maybe an year or so. So that doesn't matter in the sense, I mean, it is not going to shake the very foundation of the organizational structure of the BJP.
Okay, let me ask Arun Shourie the same question. That Mr. Shourie, there's been this talk always that there's a sort of a silent resistance, almost a sort of a silent mutiny that has been raging within BJP ranks at what some perceive as to be the very authoritarian leadership of Narendra Modi, Amit Shah and so on. But that there's been no opportunity for them to actually express it. Firstly, is this true, or is this just Delhi political gossip? And secondly, if it is, is this result going to give those who feel unhappy with the present regime more voice?
See, certainly I feel that for the last 1 year, that is just after Mr. Modi had completed the first 6 months of his tenure,
Yes.
A silent movement of non-cooperation against him and Amit Shah had begun.
By whom?
By the MPs. So the MPs who spoke to me personally. It was quite
I see,
clear.
because that's quite a significant thing that you just said.
Clear, and I sincerely hope that what Vinay is saying is not what actually they believe actually to be true, because then they are just repeating the old speeches and phrases. They are not going to learn. Now, the question really is...
This non-cooperation movement was based on what exactly?
No, that, I can give you many examples of what they gave me, but maybe that will become personal. Well, to give you just one graphic example, they were saying that when Mrs. Sonia Gandhi gets up and leaves the Lok Sabha, I'll give a very trivial example. She looks at her MPs, she acknowledges, she says, some gesture of acknowledgement. But Mr. Modi just marches away. वो हमारी तरफ देखते भी नहीं है.
Okay, so that may be more of a symbolic sense of unhappiness.
As I mentioned to you, I gave a very trivial example, but of what they felt of being excluded. Now, it does not mean that this will result in an open rebellion. I don't think that the average MP of BJP has enough spine to stand up.
Okay.
But he has enough spine to lie down and play dead. And that's what he will do. I think Yogendra will correct me in this if I am wrong, but there were 100 or some MPs that were flooded into Delhi at the time when AAP won.
Yes.
Well, they did nothing. अभी ऐसे हुआ कि बिहार में आप बतलाइएगा कि they went to Bihar. All sorts of ministers were sent here and there. I can tell you, I reveal something. Prashant Kishore rang me up.
This is the person who handles the Modi, earlier with the Modi campaign, now with Nitish Kumar.
So we were talking and I asked him, he said, यहाँ लोग, and he named some ministers कि भी वो बीजेपी के मिनिस्टर यहाँ भेजे हुए हैं, वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर में बैठे हैं, उनको कुछ पता ही नहीं है क्या करना है, वो कहते हैं यार खाना भी ठीक नहीं मिल रहा, खाना तो भिजवा दो.
No, but Mr. Shourie, are you making because this is a very serious thing you're saying. Are you saying that there has been this almost a silent sort of pen down or whatever you want to call it,
good point,
approach by a section of the BJP, and that what is now going to happen after Bihar? You think that this is going to get
this is going to get
worse, or
I think that this will deepen. This non-cooperation movement will deepen, partly because many of the MPs know the Gujarat model. The Gujarat model was that in every election, 30-40% of the existing MLAs would be dropped. So the anti-incumbency fell on those people who had been dropped, and the chief continued. Now, therefore, they feel, यार पता नहीं मेरा नाम टिकट ना कट जाए, so इसलिए बैठे रहो.
Let me again, this would be most unfair on my part if I didn't get a chance for Vinay Sahasrabuddhe to respond. Vinay Sahasrabuddhe, I'm obviously not going to pit you onto the specifics of what Mr. Shourie is saying, but I just come back to that question where you said that while certainly there may be institutional structures in place for a disciplined party like the BJP, but will there be perhaps a greater voice, if not overtly, as Mr. Shourie is suggesting, silently, that would challenge the manner and the functioning of the Prime Minister Amit Shah, and that may actually make it harder for you as a government to move forward with aspects of governance and decision making, which I'm assuming you'd want to fast track after Bihar?
See, our Prime Minister and the party president both have been known for their ears to the ground. They have been meeting people, they have been listening to the members of parliament, to the party karyakartas, to the party national executive members.
Okay.
So there is a perfect dialogue, some kind of a mechanism to get to know the pulses of the minds of the people. And therefore, I don't think, see, things flare up when there is no communication. BJP has a very well laid down communication network, and therefore I don't think there is any possibility. Of course, we are a democratically run party, so the new election of the party organizational structure is going to happen in another couple of months. So that time, naturally, at every level, new leadership will spring up, but that doesn't mean that the leadership.
But you
at
don't
the apex
think
level will
that
go-
what Mr. Shourie is saying has any credence at all? That there's been this very silent undercurrent of unhappiness with the running of the functioning of the BJP.
Mr. Shourie is privy to certain information which I am not. So how can I challenge him? But I
Okay.
don't believe that this is going to be. I mean, he might be giving credence to whatever the people that are meeting him and saying to him.
Yes.
It is his sweet will to do so. I have a respect for him.
Right.
But I don't think there are any such things happening within the party organization.
P. Chidambaram, can I
Absolutely.
just ask you that with the momentum of Bihar, I come back to my original question, that are we going to see the Congress use this opportunity of a BJP which is on the back foot to join forces with parties like the RJD, JDU, other opposition parties to take on the government, and even if that means that the Congress has to relegate itself to a role where you may be the number 2 or number 3 in a state, you're willing to make that tactical compromise?
Every state election is contextual and state specific. In Bihar, the context and the key players determined who will lead the campaign, who will be the face of the campaign. The most acceptable face is Mr. Nitish Kumar. The one with the largest social base is Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav. The Congress brought to the table strong policy credentials: secularism, development, tolerance, pluralism. Therefore, this context will be very different from what you find in Kerala, what you find in Assam, or what you find in Bengal. These are the states that are going to elections next year.
Yes.
In Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, none of this would be relevant because the context is very different. The only thing I can say is, having regard to the context of each state election,
Yes.
Congress would have to devise a wise and practical strategy, having regard to who the key players in that state are, just as they have done in Bihar.
Can I
It will be a different set of players.
Yes.
It will be a different set of players.
Can I just ask you a question looking ahead to 2019 though? Some are saying that this election is in a way setting the stage for Nitish Kumar to emerge as a front runner for Prime Ministerial candidate for 2019, heading a joint opposition coalition. Were that eventuality ever to come about, would the Congress be willing to back him?
It's too early to talk about 2019. We're only in the end of 2015. So I think it's completely inappropriate to talk about 2019. I think hard-headed politicians will now begin to talk about the 5 state elections of 2016 and the 2 or 3 elections that are coming up in 2017.
So you're saying it's too early to talk about 2019, but certainly,
Much too early to talk
Much-
about 2019.
much too early. But I can tell you that those
besides-
conversations have already started. We're going to have to take a break very quickly, Arun Shourie, if you want to come in on this.
I think that Mr. Modi has made Mr. Nitish Kumar a nationally known figure. Now it is up to Mr. Nitish Kumar to actually deliver in Bihar.
Yes.
That is the best way to position himself any further. It also, Mr. Modi, by the type of campaign that Amit Shah and Modi led,
Yes.
they have made Nitish Kumar look like a statesman.
Okay.
These 2 points is a contribution of theirs to Nitish Kumar. Now Nitish Kumar has to make a contribution by delivering in Bihar.
Indeed, and that will be something that will be closely watched, especially with this alliance with Lalu Yadav and how that's going to work. We're going to debate all of that just after a very short break. Thank you so much, all of you. Please stay with us.
I'm going to take leave now, Vasu.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, Mr. Chidambaram, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
joining us. I know you have to leave. Everyone else, please stay with us. We're just going to be joined on the other side by Kapil Sibal, another senior Congress leader, just a moment from now. Welcome back. The national impact of the sensational Bihar verdict today. We were just talking earlier about how this will impact the running of the Modi government, whether there will be more pushback from those within the party and from without as well. Kapil Sibal, very senior Congress leader, also just joining us on a high-powered panel. Welcome, sir, to the show. The other question, of course, arising as to whether the BJP's own politics will now need a rethink. And can I just bring in Vinay Sahasrabuddhe on that before I go to Kapil Sibal? Vinayji, this has been debated the whole day today, and I'm hoping we'll get a candid answer from you tonight. That the perception that you ran a campaign which at times was seen as deeply divisive, sectarian, you ran ads which had to be finally banned by the Election Commission, statements of Amit Shah about crackers in Pakistan. Was that a turn, a rightward turn, a turn towards Hindutva, which cost you this election, or which was one of the factors that cost you this election, and which you now need to rethink?
Well, let me make a couple of things very clear. I mean, this talk about right turn and left turn is all a media creation. We never describe ourselves as a right-wing party. We certainly are not leftist party, but that doesn't mean that we are a right-wing party. We have always been known right since Jansang days as a centrist party.
No, but when you say you're a party of Vikas,
yeah,
when you say you're a party of Vikas, but you take out ads with people hugging a cow.
Absolutely, but the plank for moving towards Vikas is kind of a centrist position insofar as economic theories are concerned. And therefore, we never called ourselves as a right-wing party. We are not a right-wing party in that sense. That is point number one.
All right.
Point number two, you were saying about Hindutva and things like that. Never in this campaign, I believe any of the BJP leader even uttered the word which is Hindutva. Never.
See, it's not a question of uttering the words. Look at the messaging.
Give me 2 minutes.
You're taking out ads showing someone hugging a cow. Then you're talking of religion-based reservations. You're saying crackers in Pakistan.
Isn't this no. Let me explain.
Divisive sectarian politics.
No. Let me explain. The Dadri event was first of all tried to be exploited to the hilt by our opponents, mainly the RJD and JDU. In response to that, we had to say something. We were only responding. We never referred to Dadri on our own. It was not our initiative. The Bihar versus Bahari, again an identity-centric campaign, was run by Mr. Nitish Kumar. We were just responding to that. We were never into any kind of an identity-centric campaign. We were always focusing upon development, but we were pushed to a corner and we were asked to respond to these kinds of things.
Which
is why people like many of our friends in the media especially created a perception that we are running a campaign which is kind of on religious lines or on identity issues.
It's not the media. The Election Commission actually had to ban your advertisements because they found them to be problematic. They found them to be communally charged.
Why?
The speech of the party president on the Pakistan crackers, a notice was sent. So is it fair just to blame the media? I want to ask you though, I want to ask you a different question. I'm asking you now because we're past all that. Do you think that that was a mistake? That you may say this was just action reaction, but do you think that was a mistake that you allowed your campaign to get into that language?
It was proactively mooted by us. See, when all kinds of debate about eating beef and all those things was initiated by basically Shri Lalu Prasad Yadav. And therefore, to clear the misperception, BJP has to go in some kind of a public education exercise, and the advertisement was made for that. Point number one. Point number two about nationalism. See, BJP is known, if there is a quintessential identity of the BJP, it is that of a nationalist party. And therefore, to kind of reinforce that identity as a party with nationalism as its kind of
so the
mascot.
Pakistan statement, can I just bring?
Yeah, of course.
You're
because
saying
Arun that defeat of BJP will be the defeat of nationalism plank, and therefore there will naturally be a reaction in the Pakistan. That was a very plain statement. I don't think there was any religion associated with that. Nationalism, yes, it was associated with.
Let's get a quick reaction from Arun Shrivastava, then I'm going to Kapil Sibal. That do you believe that this campaign, BJP says they were reacting to you and they were reacting to the Mahagathbandhan. Whether who started it is irrelevant. Has it damaged them?
कि सबसे पहले हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री ने प्रधानमंत्री के स्तर से नीचे उतर के नीतीश कुमार को टारगेट करना शुरू किया। सबसे पहले उन्होंने कहा डीएनए डीएनए के बारे में उन्होंने स्टार्ट किया कि बिहार नीतीश कुमार का डीएनए में कुछ गड़बड़ है। हम साधारण भाषा में समझते हैं डीएनए बहुत बड़ी गाली है। अगर किसी की कहा जाए कि तुम्हारा डीएनए कैसा है,
पोलराइजेशन की बात कर रहा हूं मैं। पोलराइजेशन आप कह रहे हैं कि जो एक अटेम्प्ट जो किया गया, एटलीस्ट लोगों ने कहा
ऐसा है,
अटेम्प्ट, आप कह रहे हैं कि उससे उनको फायदा नहीं नुकसान हुआ?
बिल्कुल नुकसान हुआ। अमित शाह जी ने कहा कि जो लोग एनडीए की अगर हार होती है तो पाकिस्तान में पटाखे बजेंगे। इसका क्या मतलब है? कि इसका मतलब जो लोग एनडीए को वोट नहीं देंगे वो लोग देशद्रोही हैं, इसलिए कि वो पाकिस्तान, ये क्या मैसेज देना चाहते थे?
This you're saying does not amount to nationalism. Kapil, Sibal, can I ask you, we were talking about this earlier in the day as well, that listening to Vinay Sahasrabuddhe, I'm not clear if the BJP believes that this particular turn that they took in this campaign is necessarily something which is both politically imprudent and may also be at a larger level for India, for society as a whole, worrying.
That's what's really worrying. I mean, I think that a political party can make mistakes, and every political party makes mistakes. You know, if you just get onto the highway and take a wrong turn, you have to get back on course.
Yes.
And if, as I'm listening to him, he seems to think that it's not necessary to get back on course. And that's really worrying for the future of India. You know, elections come and elections go, but the nation must move forward.
And you think, and you think also, because it's not just about these particular statements that were made, but the election took place in a climate where there were a lot of protests against what some perceived was an atmosphere of intolerance.
No, you look at the protests.
Yes.
A minister mentions, of the central government, a minister mentions this is manufactured protest. Right. Now, when you say something like that, one, it is insensitive.
Yes.
Two, it reflects arrogance.
Right.
Right. And that arrogance was displayed throughout the election. Whoever went to Bihar from the BJP displayed that. The kind of personal remarks that were made, not necessary.
You're saying that
whether it was Mr. Bhagwat who made them,
yes,
or Mr. Khattar from Haryana who made them, or Fadnavis from Maharashtra who made them, or Amit Shah who made them, all remarks were, one, not befitting of a party that claims to be a national party, and a Prime Minister made remarks which were not befitting the office of the Prime Minister.
Arun Shourie, you know, all parties adopt multiple hats, especially in a campaign. So you could talk about Vikas, but you can also introduce aspects of Hindutva. It's in some would say it's par for the course in an election campaign. But you said to me in a quote that subsequently went viral, that you said that the NDA for you was UPA plus cow. That the attempt to try and bring in aspects of a Hindutva agenda have not worked.
Yes.
They've not worked at the level of governance, but now even at the political level, that combination may have worked earlier, but it's not working now.
See, I'll tell you, yes, it has certainly not worked, and for that purpose, I think that at least all of us should be very grateful to the people of Bihar that the principal result of this election has been that the direction in which the country was being hurled, that has been blocked by the people of Bihar, which was division, which was abuse. You just have to see, I mean, if you gave me an opportunity to read the kind of abuse that has been hurled at me and my handicapped son by these damn fools who are followed by the Prime Minister on the social media. You just give me the time, some time, and I'll read them out to you, and your viewers will be horrified. इसका mental son है, ये वो और भी mental बनेगा, क्या बकवास कर रहे हैं?
This is on Twitter.
Yes. So the point there was that direction has certainly been checked by the people of Bihar under the leadership of Nitish Kumar and Lalu Yadav, and we have to be thankful to them first. But the greater problem is when I listen to the people, my own friends, Vinay and all are my very good friends, but throughout the day I have been listening to these BJP people. You see, it seems that they are not going to learn anything at all.
Exactly.
That's a very big problem.
But
one other thing, you know, you were recounting individual statements, and Kapil also recounted them. Mahesh Sharma, he is a minister in the central government. You can't say he's Sadhvi Prachi or somebody.
Yes.
And it cannot be that the Prime Minister cannot discipline his own minister. And during the campaign, for his statements, he is rewarded by being given Dr. Kalam's house. Now, therefore, please see that all the statements fit together. They
Okay.
come together, they supplement each other. That is how an atmosphere is created.
Okay, but I think we must get Vinay Sahasrabuddhe to respond to that. And you're right when you say that people like Vinay Sahasrabuddhe, he in fact is somebody who thinks very deeply about public life outside of just political partisanship. Vinayji, we know very well you run a training institute in Mumbai, outside of Mumbai, to ensure that a certain Lakshman Rekha of political conduct is followed. Surely, that there is some signal here which goes beyond political point scoring, where the BJP needs to think about the kind of statements that have been made by some of your senior leaders and about the reprimands that were supposedly given, whether they actually had any effect and perhaps whether stronger action needs to be taken.
See, Sreenivasan ji, basically what I was trying to explain was that we were in a particular situation forced to react to certain things on our own, given our own kind of preferences. We were not going to divert our attention from the agenda of development.
Okay.
That is for sure, and there is the track record of BJP campaign in the Lok Sabha or in subsequent elections, whether it was Delhi, Maharashtra,
So there'll be
Haryana
no
or wherever.
more.
We never touched upon any kind of identity issues, period. I mean, let me make it very clear. Point number one. Point number two, it doesn't mean that we are saying that we have not committed any mistake. See, this is the first day. Today in the morning the results have come out.
Yes.
We are going to meet in various phases. I mean, our various bodies of the party organizations are going to meet, apply mind to the verdict of the Bihar election.
Yes.
And that is how the process of churning will go on. We will certainly introspect. It doesn't mean that we have not committed any
But
mistake.
can I just ask
But
you-
are you expecting me to come out with a kind of statement about the mistakes committed by BJP on my own? See, there is an exercise. The party collectively
No, I'm
functions
just
in a
asking
particular
you-
system. We
No,
will
no,
do
no,
it on our own.
I am just asking you, would you at least be able to assure our viewers tonight that there will be an end to this kind of talk, which, as you yourself said, diverts from what you came as an agenda with? There will be no more talk of, you know, all this cow business. There will be no more hate talk, and there will be strong action against anybody who uses this language within the party or the government.
Let me say that the Prime Minister, the apex leader of the party, has always been talking about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Whether it was in Gujarat or thereafter at the national level, he has been talking about Team India or Team Gujarat. So we are
sir,
very
that-
inclusive,
those
or
are-
we
those-
believe in some kind of a very participative approach. That is point number one. There need not be an iota of doubt about the statements that were objectionable statements made by certain leaders.
Yeah.
It is a common knowledge that the party high command, especially the party president, did have some conversation with some of the leaders. Now, what transpired in their conversation
party
is not
president
the
ने
object
का
of
बयान
public
दिया है, तो
debate.
उसके बाद action
We are
होगी।
a organization and we have our own
But sir,
mechanisms
it-
of corrections.
it
That
didn't
is point
stop
number
after
two.
that.
And the
It-
third point, let
the
me,
statements
since
didn't
Mr.
stop. In
Arun
fact,
Shourie
Amit
talked
Shah ji
about
himself
it.
went
No,
and
no,
made a very
Sreenivasan ji,
provocative
just give me
statement.
2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. Since Mr. Arun Shourie, very respectable journalist, talked about it, it is really very painful to know that there were certain kind of remarks on the social media. But let me tell him that the Prime Minister, no less than a person, our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, while interacting with the BJP social
I'll
media
just say that.
enthusiasts,
I want to
have
say
very
something.
clearly told them that
I-
they
on
have
this
to
will-
mind their language, and social media is not a platform for spreading hatred.
Okay,
it
let
has
Mr.
to go
Shourie-
along with harmony.
Okay, Mr. Shourie, quickly. and then, yes.
Vinay, just to tell you, sir, एक
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
Just to tell you that the very persons who have been abusing me are among the persons who were invited to the Prime Minister's reception and were feted. And just by saying I follow their tweets, I follow their abuse, you are actually encouraging those fellows because they know that the master is watching.
You see,
Please don't take us to be fools.
Arun is not the only recipient of this. There is a whole army out there. There are professionals who are employed in the social media by them. And the moment you want to have any kind of dialogue,
Yes.
either on Twitter
Yes.
or in the social media, there is an abuse, a kind of an avalanche of abuse. People give filthy abuses.
Yes.
They say, we'll cut off your head, we'll cut off your hand. That's the kind of stuff that goes
नहीं,
around.
उसने मुझे कहा इसको
And
साले को
if this
बहन
is
को
if
गोली मारो.
this is tolerance, this is the kind of national
I think-
discourse
I think-
that this party wants.
No, but to Sreenivasan, to believe that this has been promoted or encouraged by BJP itself is
It's your
a
professional
kind of
army.
It is your
It's your professional army.
Vinayji, I think the point is, I agree. I take your point that it's perhaps unfair to say that you control every single voice or abuser on social media, but there are certainly people who derive legitimacy from the fact that they may be followed by some of the top leadership of the party, and that gives them a certain degree of sanction, of impunity. And I think perhaps you may want to, again, Vinayji, you shouldn't always see this as see it as constructive criticism, that there is a negativity that is built up and you may want to address it in the best way possible, and you should be open to that. I think that's the message coming from here.
See, we are always for course correction, and our party leadership has already said that there will be some kind of an introspection post Bihar results, and certainly there will be course correction wherever required.
Okay, that's at least that's a concession. But I want to,
as had happened in the case after Delhi.
No.
There's always introspection in every political party, and the result is the same.
Okay, but at least there is a declaration of the need for course correction. We will take a short break, and then we'll come back to the much more important question of what happens now to the economy, what happens to Parliament. Is that going to get further deadlocked, or will we actually see the BJP in a more conciliatory mode? That's after the break. Welcome back. Let me turn to one of our most thoughtful commentators on Indian politics, Yogendra Yadav, who have been guilty of ignoring so far in this panel. Yogendra, where do you see now the politics of the BJP and the national political trajectory? What turn do you see it taking after Bihar? Do you see any merit in Lalu's claim where he came out and said, I'm now going to take on the central government, Modi ji himself, I'll go to Varanasi and campaign against him? Is that going to have any impact, or is that just bravado?
He likes to boast, and this is his day to boast about these things. I think the larger thing is that this myth of invincibility, that is certainly shattered, and the monopoly of the BJP in country's politics, NDA on country's politics, monopoly of BJP over NDA, and monopoly of Mr. Modi in BJP.
Yes.
All these three are bound to be seriously questioned now on. That is certainly something that has begun. It would have some implications on economic policy as well. I'm sure you would discuss other kinds of economic reforms and other things. But I think this may just be a bit of a reminder that there are ordinary people in this country, that farmers are being neglected, that there are real issues that need to be attended to. And on the communal question that we were discussing earlier, I mean, this is certainly a big sigh of relief.
Yes.
It does halt a process which has
Arun Shourie was making. Kapil, Sibal, if I can just ask you before I go to Vinay Sahasrabuddhe about this question of reforms in the government moving forward, that are we going to see the Congress now take on an even more confrontationist position in Parliament? Or are you looking for the BJP now to extend an olive branch?
Why should the Congress be confrontationist? I think what we need to see, there are issues which are national issues that that will impact the future of our country, and I think the Congress must come forward and take those issues forward for development. I mean, that's fundamental. If the Congress doesn't do that, it would be a mistake. But my worry is that these people will not change. Remember, the RSS is now no longer a cultural organization; it is a political setup. The Prime Minister of the country is a RSS person himself. 3 governors are RSS. Ministers are RSS. So I don't think their agenda is going to change. Unfortunately, there is a natural attrition between the RSS as an organization and the BJP as a political party. That attrition will continue, and therefore I don't see any cohesiveness within government.
Vinay Sahasrabuddhe, very quickly, are you going to adopt a different approach now when it comes to dealing with the opposition in and outside of Parliament to get many of the legislation, other decisions that you believe are pending back on track?
See, we have been approaching the opposition with a very conciliatory kind of mindset. Even our finance minister has already said that he doesn't mind meeting and conversing or entering into a dialogue with Mr. Rahul Gandhi.
Okay.
In fact, the confrontationist approach comes from the other side. I mean, there was no reason, absolutely no reason for the Congress party to boycott the dinner hosted in honor of the delegates of the African summit. But they are bound to create some kind of a confrontation. They are there to create a ruckus in the parliament. They believe in politics of pandemonium, and it is very painful, very unfortunate. I would only request with folded hands that the Congress should stay away from these kinds of confrontationist tactics and allow the nation to march ahead. Now, he also referred to RSS. Let me tell him that RSS is the source of inspiration for not only BJP but several organizations, and Mr. Arun Shourie also knows the importance of RSS. Unfortunately, forces who fought against emergency today are sitting in company of those who imposed emergency on this country and now talking about tolerance.
Last word from Mr. Shourie. If you were to have one thing you could say to the Prime Minister tonight, what would that be?
Firstly, please remember, you have shown the way to the opposition by fomenting a coalition against yourself. So don't now, and you were the persons who legitimized disruption of parliament as a parliamentary tactic. That is one point. But the second, I think if I could get to one message across, if there were one issue, it is beyond these elections. Just see during this election period what has happened. You have, nobody in Nepal will believe that we did not instigate the blockade, and that has thrown Nepal into the lap of China. And they are opening 8 routes of trade into China. So please attend to those things. And this lunatic act of taking Nepal to the UN for human rights violations and saying that nobody should interfere in Kashmir. So I would plead with that, and end with a prayer, which I hope that the Prime Minister will see merit in that prayer. And the best way to materialize the prayer is to live it. The prayer is कि मैंने लिखा था कि ए खुदा कभी मुझे ऐसी खुदाई न दे, ए खुदा कभी मुझे ऐसी खुदाई न दे कि अपने अलावा मुझे और कोई दिखाई न दे.
मैं भी एक कुछ कह देता हूँ. खुदा के बंदे संभल जा, वक्त है अब भी बदल जा. मत कर एक दूजे पे हमला, कुछ ही दिनों का है जुमला.
Okay. All right. We have a fair amount of shayars or shayari in the studio, but at least somewhat of a note of conciliation. We hope that we are ending on, and we hope we will see from all sides at least one outcome of what has otherwise been a very bitterly fought campaign. Thank you all so much for joining us on this NDTV special. From all of us here, good night.